Good evening, and a very warm welcome to the Online Wine Tasting Club. And I'm Alex. This is Jamie.
And for the second month in a row,
you may have noticed
we have someone else.
Oh, that way, there's someone else.
So we've just started working with a fantastic new importer, the Naughty Grape, and some absolutely brilliant Slovakian wines. When I first had the conversation, I got a call and I said, "Would you like to try some Slovakian Tokaj?" And I'm like, is this someone who knows nothing about wine? Because surely Tokaj is Hungarian, because I have never heard of it. So I have been well versed and well learned of this, but it's fantastic to have an absolute expert with us this evening.
Welcome, Lucia. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good evening.
We've got some nice wishes from everybody. We've got Paul saying that this will be his very first Slovakian wines. That was me a few months ago before we'd met. Sarah's also saying it's her very first Slovakian wine, so that's very good. And we also have Sophia saying that the badges are looking particularly festive. So that's what we need.
And that is the important
thing. But very good evening.
So what I think we should do is let's get wine number one in the glass, so everyone's got a little something to drink. But Lucia, do you just want to kind of a little chat about yourself, your background, Naughty Grape, and how you're hoping to bring Slovakian wines to the masses?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So the Naughty Grape was set up about a year ago by Darren, that's Darren there, and myself. Unfortunately, Darren is not here tonight because he's doing another wine tasting, so definitely got a short straw here. We set up the Naughty Grape a year ago because we went to Slovakia, Slovak Tokaj, first time about 2.5 years ago, had a wine there and absolutely fell in love with it. And not just the wine, but the scenery and Slovak Tokaj place as such. We came back to the UK, wanted to buy the wine, couldn't buy the wine. So we went back again and back and forth. We then realized it's actually quite economically unimpressive to be doing this and really quite expensive to fly to Slovakia every time we wanted to have a glass of Slovak wine. So last year, long story short, we decided to set up the Naughty Grape. By the way, why the Naughty Grape? So
that's
Slovakia,
a good question.
Yes. Yeah, so Slovakia has been known to be producing enough wine for the internal own consumption. So in fact, they would actually import some wine for their own needs. So there is not much wine imported outside, and we sort of changed it. So hence why the Naughty Grape, because we are taking away the grape from them. Into the UK. So now we have 19 wineries in our portfolio, around 150 different wines, and we tend to really sort of handpick our wineries. We work with people who are either small and boutique wineries or are at least minimum intervention, sustainable farming, and all that good stuff, and obviously very high quality of wine. So that's what we are doing at the moment.
Well, that's fantastic.
Brilliant. So we've got wine number one in the glass. For those who have joined us for the first time or previously, we can get Slido up so people start to put
I will do that. Yep.
Tasting notes and the like in. But I just think it's, you know,
Magda's showing off. She has a bottle of Slovakian Tokaj already in her wine rack after a trip to Bratislava.
Fantastic.
Fair play, Magda. Fair play. Yeah. That's incredible. Loving that. Yes. So let's get the Slido up.
So absolutely. So, you know, I think, you know, Slovakia, you know, it's a region that should be growing wine. You know, we're close to Austria, we're close to Hungary. There are two regions that we both know, and you've got the Danube River running through there, which is a massively important part of, you know, the climate, the terroir, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to jump to another country very quickly and talk about when I was in Austria, because I can't talk doing this thing without saying where I went somewhere. But what's amazing about the Danube is you can be on one part of it and it's really, really cold, and you go round the corner and the temperature will change. It will get warmer, it will get cooler. It's absolutely brilliant. It's you know, absolutely fantastic thing. But you know, where are we going? We're going here. So wine number one. I've got a bit lost.
We've been burning the midnight oil a bit here, so we're not quite.
So wine number one is a ferment, and ferment is the grape that, you know, is usually used to make Tokaj.
All grapes fermented.
Very good, Alex.
You're not allowed to laugh at his jokes. Please don't laugh at his jokes. You'll only encourage him.
Yeah.
But Ferment is the grape that is known for making the sweet style of Tokaj, and it's not usually often you see a dry style. And this is from a winery called Grüner Veltliner, which I'll hand over to Lucia to talk through a little bit. But they're a relatively new winery, aren't they? And kind of cutting edge. And I'll hand over to you just to talk a little bit about them.
Sure, thank you. So Grüner Veltliner was set up in 2017. So relatively, as you said, relatively young winery. They are trying to go with the innovation and tradition at the same time. So they do produce sweet dessert wines, but also they do make quite a funky dry style of Tokaj wines. So this particular is dry ferment, as you said. As for the vineyards, actually, it's one of the biggest winery at the moment, and it's actually why it's the first winery that we visited. This is why we are now importing their wines into the UK. So we absolutely love these guys. Grüner Veltliner, by the way, is called because Velká bara. Velká bara means big bara or big barry, and barry because it's the Italian monks that came to the region. I don't know how many hundreds of years ago from Italy and started growing wines there. So hence Velká bara and Grüner Veltliner.
Fantastic.
That's it. So I just want to pop it up. We don't often do the little promo videos, but it's such a stunning looking winery that I thought we could just pop a little video up so you can kind of see what it looks like, how it is,
because
a little view of the area.
I've been to when it was Czechoslovakia and it was a merged entity. I've been to Prague a couple of times, but I've never been to Slovakia, and I was so jealous of my friend who said he'd been through the mountains of Slovakia and seen all of this side of the countries. I still had no idea what it looked like. So let's roll this little video and let people look at it themselves. See you in a sec. That looks all right.
Quite happily go there. Quite happily go there. So when we're talking about Slovakia, obviously we've got, I say obviously, there's 6 main wine regions that are, most of them are kind of in the south. Whereabouts is Grüner Veltliner, and what's important about where it is for people?
So Grüner Veltliner is located in Tokaj, so it's a Slovak Tokaj, or Slovak part of Tokaj. Not many people. So it's that little blob on the right hand side, on the right bottom side.
Tiny.
So
wow.
It's really tiny. It's around 800 or 900 hectares of vineyards that are actually allowed to use this appellation in Slovakia, and it's actually 15% of the whole Tokaj region, with Hungary is in Slovakia. So not many people know that actually Tokaj flows into Slovakia, or spills into Slovakia, should I say. What's really typical for this wine region is volcanic soil and subsoils of lime and clay as well. So it's a very good water retention. And so what actually that means for the wines is that you get wines with a very good minerality and longevity, together with roundness and complexity as well. So on a palate, then you get those very typical honeyed notes, and obviously, that goes into the sweet dessert Tokaj wines, which are, from Hungarians, asu wines.
It's interesting how you mentioned honey, because I really get that sort of honey, like almost that sort of honeycomby kind of flavor coming through, but without the sweetness of it. And it's weird because your brain's expecting something that's not there, but it gets a whole lot of other stuff instead, which makes it absolutely delicious. This is so cool.
Yeah, I saw there was a great note on there. There was, I think it was dry sherry I saw.
Yeah.
That it has this slightly almost like Amontillado nuttiness about it. And this is one of the wines that it's like nothing else. Its ferment is its own thing. What else is this like? It's not like a Chardonnay. It's not like a Sauvignon Blanc. It's not, there's lots of grapes out there that you go, well, if you like this and you want to go one step there, you might like this. But ferment is all out there by itself, because it's, you know, you can drink it young and fresh, it can age, it's, you know, it does lots of different things, and, you know, drink it by itself, food wine.
For sure, but it's a very foodie wine. It's got a huge amount of you know, oomph to go with stuff. I mean, what we've got down here on our tasting notes, calamari and cheddar, which probably not together. Not at the same time. No. But I mean,
just think that salinity with kind of like a hard cheese, you know, that proper cheddar with like the crystalline saltiness coming through.
Yeah.
And then kind of like some like fresh seafood, but there's got a bit of weight about it, because, you know, if you have something really, really light, I think it'll get lost behind this.
What would they eat in Slovakia with a wine like this?
Good question, actually. So you probably wouldn't normally. You would just have it on the phone. But so this one is a little bit quite light. But normally you would pair it with seafood. So and obviously we don't have much seafood in Slovakia, so you would pair it with fish. And usually sweet water, water fish, and also cheeses. So we love cheeses in Slovakia. So, but they have to be soft cheeses. So Edam, which is and soft in time and soft in terms of texture as well.
Fantastic. We also have a suggestion from our crowd of that scampi and chips really well with
absolutely. So, I think so, actually. Yeah. I was just going to add one thing, Jeremy, that why I love Fermin is that it's so versatile, as you said, and it's not just you know, they can be dry or sweet, but also, and we've got those as well, you can make them sparkling, you can make them still, you can make them semi-sweet, you know, you can actually do the whole late harvest, which we'll try at the end, and obviously it's very susceptible to botrytis, so it's incredibly versatile grape, and also can be blended with other grapes, and actually the results are stunning.
Great stuff. It's almost like that it's a Riesling kind of thing, isn't it? You know, where it can be bone dry.
Riesling, or you know, I'd probably go less Riesling and more kind of like for that adaptability of something like a Chenin Blanc. You know, you have that almost when you go. God, I've said it's not like anything else, and now I'm about to say it's like...
It doesn't taste like Chenin Blanc.
No, but you know where you know, Chenin, you can have that really bright, fresh style, or then you can have that slightly kind of like wet, woolly, minerality, Sauvignon kind of style, or sparkling, or sweet, or whatever. That's kind of what I'm saying.
So, a great question. Has it seen any deliberate oxidation or skin contact? That's a really solid, geeky question. Thank you for that.
Shall I take this one? So no skin contact, definitely none. The color goes due to a little bit of aging. Obviously, this is 2021, I think. And also there is a little bit of barrels, a little bit of oxidation, but actually just very little one. And then mainly it was stainless steel vats.
Fantastic. So thank you. That's really good. Kathy also has a sparkling ferment from the Hungarian part of Tokaj. I don't know if I've ever tried one actually.
I don't think I've ever had sparkling. That's
that's one that we've got going to have to tick off. But
so should we have
let's
have
a last look at the tasting notes here. We've got some. I mean, obviously we've got the apple, lime, pear, and saline nature, which is what sets up a big feature for that honey. But we've also got some lovely little notes like white blossom and chamomile, and I can't even, my eyes are going, and my wife's going to be watching this and going, you need to go to the opticians, because I do, probably. She's probably right. She's right about most things, I find. But cider and sherry, so that slightly oxidative
that
kind of thing. Yeah, tangy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A little bit metallic. Yeah, well, I think that's the minerality coming through. You so often, with metal, you get those sort of ion exchange things going on. And I think that's a really nice thing for a starter wine, for wine number one. I think that's really cool. So thank you all for your tasting notes. But I think that means it must be time for wine number two. So
I think that sounds like a wonderful plan.
Let's move the tasting notes on, and there we go.
So we are heading on to
Rariga.
Rariga.
Is that we've probably said that all wrong, haven't we?
Rariga, yeah.
Rariga. Okay. And this is a grape called Devín.
Devín, I think many Devíns before.
Well, what's really interesting about this is it is a cross made in Slovakia for Slovakia, if I'm correct. So two local varietals but the local varieties are based on Gewürztraminer and Grüner Veltliner.
Ah, right.
I
okay.
want to say it was
It's all very Austro-Hungarian Empire kind
I
of
want
thing.
to say it was 1958, if I remember my notes when that first cross.
Someone's going to tell you if
happened.
you're wrong. That's
Oh,
for
of course
sure.
they
Probably
will.
Lucia, but yeah.
But yeah, it's and I'm not gonna attempt to pronounce the local grapes, but it's a Gewürz Grüner Veltliner blend. And I'll hand over to Lucia to give a little more info about these guys.
Yes,
I'll
thank you.
I know.
So I actually love this story. So Dorota Pospíšilová is the mother of these grapes. As you said, she started breeding or crossing new grape varieties in the 50s and 60s with the intention to predict climatic changes in Slovakia. And actually, I'm sure you guys know, it takes absolutely ages to actually develop a new crossing or a grape that is going to be yielding some sort of, or getting some sort of yields. So she started in the 60s, and then it took about 3-4 decades by the time they approved her grapes. So now she's got 24 new grapes that are formally approved in Slovakia. She's 94 years old, by the way. She's never been married, no children. So these are her children, really. Bless her. She's absolutely incredible. And yeah, so she's developed red varieties. We will try one later today, and white. So white are called or named after places. So Devín is a place. It's a little castle near Bratislava, and the red varieties or red wine varieties are called after rivers. So rivers. So yeah, as you said, Devín developed really in the 50s. It's a crossing of Gewürztraminer and Roter-Traminer or Red-Traminer.
That's fantastic. I'm just trying to find a picture of the castle because I felt that would be quite a fun thing to have. So
I think you were going to see show Dorota Pospíšilová. She's really lovely.
I'm not convinced on my ability to Google that, but
I think this is very, very, it is very Gewürztraminer.
Yeah,
it's very aromatic. It's very rich. It's got this weightiness to it. I think this is absolutely brilliant.
It's lovely. It's absolutely delicious.
And the joy of this is getting to try it. It's not something that you would walk into a shop and go, "You got any?
Have you got any Devín?"
Yeah. So that ability to try and taste and get that little bit of history to go, this is what it is. And I think what's important is, you look at, there's a lot of, stuff going into crossings of grapes and peewees and those kind of things as we're trying to look at climate change now and disease prevention and better yields and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that they were so far ahead of the game doing it in the 50s before it was the cool thing to do. That it was like
before people thought climate change was a thing. In fact, they were because sort of back in those times, people were a bit worried about global cooling, weren't they? In the sort of as you got towards the 70s. But
absolutely. So the second grape, so you've got Gewürztraminer and Grüner Veltliner are the two grapes. Which
is red, isn't it? Red Veltliner.
Red-Traminer.
Red-Traminer.
As you have Grüner,
is the greyish one, isn't it? Or
absolutely.
Yeah.
So whereabouts in Slovakia are we now?
So good question. So now we are in Small Carpathians region. So Small Carpathians region is the largest, actually, a best known region in Slovakia. So it's the purple one on the left.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts near Bratislava and then it sort of goes up the Carpathian Mountains to the north. What's really specific for this region is granite and loose and limestone rich clay soil. So very mineral and well drained. Oh, there you go. That's Devín.
So that's the Devín Castle. Yeah. Sorry, which is in Bratislava as well, isn't it? So
near Bratislava. Yeah. And that's Danube.
That's the Danube. Yeah.
Yeah, and across Danube, that's Austria. So you can see how close the regions are, really.
That's fantastic. But it's you know what I like about this is it's got the aromatic notes that you'd expect from something that's come from that family, but it is more refined. It's more kind of restrained. It's but what are other people thinking? I'd love to hear what people and furthermore as well, have you been to Slovakia? If so, we know that a couple of people have been. So pop in the comments if you've actually had the chance to visit Slovakia. But yeah, really restrained as for one of those floral wines, and not as in your face.
It is. It's there. It's balanced. You know, it's 13% alcohol, which is a little bit higher than it actually feels. It doesn't feel 13%. It feels
It
like
says
it could
14
be
on this stage sheet.
It's
Look.
14, yeah.
14.
Yeah, 14. So even.
I'm reading the
Actually,
ladies.
it's 13 and a half. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
we're
13 and a
rounding.
half, so we'll meet in the middle.
Quite high for a white.
But it doesn't feel that. It feels
No.
a lot lighter. It's really well balanced, really well integrated. I think this is just it. This is my kind of wine. I think this is fun, and it is that kind of, for me, take it to a dinner party, open it up. People are going to go, "You've never had one of these," and people go, "Yes, yes." It's my cool geekiness comes out with this. So, but yeah, this winery, the current guise has been since the early 2000s, but the plantings date back to the mid 80s. So it's been around a little while.
And they've got 2 hectares of vineyards. That's it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's about 4 acres to turn it in, or something like that, isn't it? I think, if I remember right. 4 or 5 acres, which is about the same size as the vineyard that I nearly bought. And so they can't be making many bottles of wine. How many are they making? I mean, they're probably in England.
They do make around 20 to 25,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yes, and they, in terms of products, they've got around 7 or 8 different wines. So, but obviously they don't make them every year. So, yeah, it's tiny.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So we're getting to have some proper kind of craft stuff, craft wine, and as Paul says, it's delicious. So
I think
nice.
this hits this with something, a little bit spicy, something that's got a little bit of chili, a little bit of soy sauce, that kind of stuff. That's got that umami. I think it's absolutely brilliant pairing.
Yeah, exactly. So seafood, poultry, Asian dishes, and again soft cheeses, because we love soft cheeses.
What's the weather like in this part of the world? Like, because it's one of those things where it's so affected by mountains, and we tend to think of Eastern Europe as I think a lot of people who haven't experienced it think it's cold, but I don't. Yeah, like in the winter that might be the case, but I get the feeling there's quite a lot of warmth in the summer. Like, to make something that's 14% alcohol and that ripe and that floral and everything. What's it like down in that part right next to Austria?
So Small Carpathians, they actually have got proper 4 seasons a year. So the summers are very hot, and the winters still can get quite cold. So it's one of the very few regions that can still make ice wine, and they do make ice.
Yeah.
But as you said, the summers are actually getting quite pretty warm. So you do have average temperature between 25 to 32 throughout 4 or 5 months a year. It's lovely.
That sounds idyllic. So you've got a proper winter and a proper summer. I think that's bang on it. So how are we thinking? Should we be moving on to one number 3, or
we can do.
But we have here a very good question, and I think this deserves a proper answer, which is a really, really good point. Why the short history of winemaking in the wines we're tasting tonight? They're only a few decades old, and so this is a proper political question, isn't it? So we'll come back to that on. I think we do wine number 3. We get it in the glass. We talk a little bit about it, and then we'll talk a bit about the history of winemaking in Slovakia, because I think that would be quite a good point to do that.
I think that sounds like a good plan. So we'll get 3 in the glass. We'll introduce it. We'll talk about the history of winemaking, and then continue on. What a great idea.
It's almost like we have a plan.
It's almost like I just repeated what she said back to you.
Yeah, but we're winging it, so you know.
Here we are. So
for those of you who like to follow along with what we're doing at the moment, we are currently working 18-hour shifts. So after we finish this this
we're
tasting,
going to
we're going to go and make some more advent calendars because we thought that we had to make 150,000 glasses of wine this month, but actually it's turned into 165,000 now, and that means, I thought that meant opening 25,000 bottles of wine, but we realized that one of the wines came in half bottles. So it's closer to 30,000 bottles of wine we're opening by hand and testing every single one of them to smell to make sure it tastes all right. And it's chaos, but it's good fun. It's good fun. It's the right problem to have, better than being too busy.
Back to the tasting.
Yeah. So rosé. This is that. Now that's a rosé.
Rosé. Cabernet Sauvignon, beautiful salmon color.
Sauv rosé.
Beautiful salmon color. Slightly.
I've not had a Cab Sauv rosé.
Have you not?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I genuinely don't think so. I mean, I might have had something as part of a blend, but not on its own as a single varietal wine. No. And yeah, I don't know why. And presumably there's so much color in those skins that it's not, it's not going to make your on-trend kind of light, pale Provençal style. And yeah, so let's see what it's like.
So anyway, I'm just going to say very quickly. Wow, smells like it should be sweet, and then it's absolutely dry. It's got this really kind of like confetti candy kind of thing. But should we, before we dive into this, you can move the tasting notes on so people can pop them on.
Sorry.
Should we just go back a little bit, and I'll hand over just a little bit of history of Slovakian winemaking, kind of where it is, how it's going, and
absolutely. So why such a short history? So actually it's not. Slovakia as a region has been making wine for nearly 2,000 years. It's just that obviously Slovakia was only set up established after the First World War, and Czechoslovakia back then obviously started making wines, and the vineyards were sort of flourishing. Unfortunately, then after the Second World War, communism came and just wiped out almost the entire wine industry. So some of the vineyards still continue making wines, but it wouldn't be for sale, more for personal uses. And there was just one that was actually allowed to be making wine, which is Hubert, and that was for the greater good of the communism, and was allowed to be sold to the publics. So that's why. So unfortunately, as I said, communist era completely wiped out the entire industry.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I think we did an Eastern European tasting a few years ago, and I wasn't aware of obviously how much history was lost in the whole process when when the Soviet Union started. Obviously the promise was there of plentiful everything for everybody, and well, it was Stalin, I think, who said that he wanted to put in place this whole Soviet champagne that was going to be produced so that the everyday person, while they were starving, we had complete food shortages. And one of his big focuses was on go and make champagne, and so obviously for that you wanted to have very, very ripe grapes so that you could have the sweetness in it to have the it had more sugar in it per liter than Coca-Cola, I believe, champagne. And you could have this and people would drink it in sort of cups in the street. It was an amazing cultural phenomenon, and I'd love to try it. I'd absolutely love to try it. But obviously then the diktat was coming down from above. Go and do this, build your yields, make more, and take whatever. It wasn't good for the soil, it wasn't good for the environment. It meant that anyone who dared to sort of say, hold on, I've been farming this vineyard for centuries, my family have, we know what we're doing, off to the gulag you go. If you're going to question it, you're against the state, and you are not going to be doing it. So grapes, native grape varieties were lost hugely, and nobody was allowed to make those kind of things that they were doing, and people had to do what the state told them. So yeah, a terrible time for winemaking. Unless you were making Soviet champagne or some of the other things, like there were lots of other things going on, of course. But it was, yeah, I think when the Berlin Wall fell and the Iron Wall came down, and Czechoslovakia was one of the first places to become freed from the Soviet Union. What on earth? That must have left such a vacuum in these vineyards. Like, what, without a state control going, you're going to be doing this. How on earth do you recover from that, and how do you restore and find the things that were lost? I mean, it's an extraordinary battle. So I'd love to have seen it and to hear the tales of some of those early days.
Yeah, so a lot of vineyards were nationalized and were made part of cooperatives. So they were still being functional, as you said. They were making those sort of Soviet champagne and Soviet wines and stuff. And by the way, there's still one that is still making those. So next time
Fantastic!
I'll bring you one. Yes.
Bring it in. Yeah,
actually, disgusting. It's disgusting. But one good thing about it is that it was really sad, because I think that about 50-60% of the vineyards were completely left fallow, and it's going to take a lot of time, money, and effort actually to recover them even now. But thank goodness that straight after communism, some of them started not buying them, but actually renting them on cooperatives and started making wines that way. So Matišak, actually, this is the wine that we're just drinking now. Matišak is one of the first wineries set up in Slovakia. So he started in the 90s. Really straight after the collapse of communism. So kudos to him. He had absolutely great vision. I'll just like to say cheers to him, because he passed away about 3 weeks ago.
Cheers to Matišak.
Yes, absolutely, Peter Matišak.
What a legend of the
industry.
That's proper bravery. That wow.
Yes.
So we're having one of his last wines that he made himself for
exactly.
Goodness.
Exactly. So there is still a vision, and at the moment, by the way, there are 888 registered wineries in Slovakia.
Okay.
So it's definitely picked up.
It picked up
since
1989. Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
So with bringing Slovakian wine over, generally, what has been as you put this in front of people, what has people's reaction been to the color of it? Because obviously, in the UK, it seems people like to have a very light, very pale, very that very kind of salmon pink. Is that making it difficult to sell? Are people embracing it that's a little bit different? Because I'm not sure if it was this worry, but I was talking to Darren, and he's like, there's a winery in Slovakia that you can pick your color. You can turn around and go, I would like my rosé made to this shade, and they will make your rosé that shade.
So pretty much every single winery that we're working with at the moment, they said we can make you a paler rosé if you want, but the demand for rosés in Slovakia is this color. And in fact, the sweetness should be semi-sweet, because that's the palate of Slovak people. So obviously, when we started importing wines, we had to be very careful, because you can get this color rosés and they will be semi-sweet. So, but indeed, they can. Everybody can make. Every winemaker, if they're good, they can make whatever color of rosé. It's not by blending it, it's not by filtering it, but next year, if there is a demand for it, obviously they can create it with a little bit of lighter skin touch, etc. So absolutely. But the reaction to this color in the UK is very off-putting, obviously. Unfortunately, there is still this stigma about the Zinfandel wines, which we know that they had very rich pink color, and they were very sweet as well at the same time. So there is that connection, unfortunately. So it's actually been quite fun, because when we do wine tastings, we always say to people, just try it, and you'll be surprised, because this is actually bone dry. This is 3.6 GL residual sugar, so It is really dry. Why are you getting a little bit of sweetness on a palate? Is because actually the grapes are late harvest. So this is why. So the Cabernet Sauvignon grapes were picked later than usual. So there was concentrated sugar, and hence why the concentration in the wine. But
And I think what's really interesting, you look at the tasting notes, and it's strawberry cordial, red currant, and you look at that, and you would expect it to be sweet. And on the nose, for me, it's got that slightly candied, I almost want to say Jolly Rancher-esque kind of thing. But then you try it, and it's dry, and it's fresh, and it's got nice mouthfeel. I think with a lot of rosés, we have gone, what people think they should be drinking is like this nothingness rosé. It's cold, it's light, it's wet, it's that right color of pink, but there's nothing to it. It's got a little maybe touch of strawberry. This is a glass of wine. It's got richness, it's got texture, it's
it's sunny,
and the finish. The finish just holds.
It's not pink water.
And and this is interesting to see.
Oh, so sorry, is that that's just what I said, wasn't it? I didn't read that.
Well, quad erat demonstration.
Yeah, I need to stop talking and just let the people on the side do my notes for me.
Yeah, it's overrated now. There are two measures of, as he said, nothing. And this, I'm like all in. And here we have as well. Agreed. Bolder colours, bolder taste in rosé. Absolutely, we want that middle ground.
And I think people need to realise that colour isn't representative of what's in the final glass. But we do have this kind of, if it's dark pink, it's going to be sweet. If it's light pink, it's going to be dry. And that's absolutely not, Bandol, Tavel, those kind of, absolutely. And I think people need to, and what's great is we can have it in a pouch and you can try it. You go, you know what? Yeah. I love that style of rosé.
I didn't have to buy a bottle, but now that I know I like it, I can go and buy a bottle. That's a subtle one, isn't it?
Or I can look at it and I go, okay, I can try just that much of it to see if that colour is my kind of style, or that is, it's brilliant. So
it's a different style, and it's great. And for me, I'm getting a lot of cranberry in it. I don't know why, but that's but there's lots and lots of very strawberry related things.
It's in your head. It's in your head.
It's in my head because the cranberries. Yeah, I see what you did there. That's very good. But sorry.
Yes, you're allowed to laugh at my jokes, just not his ones. But I just think this is a very it's a cool style of rosé. Is it going to be everyone's cup of tea? Maybe not. But this is the whole point of these tastings, is to bring something out and go, you see that and you think one thing, you smell it, you think one thing, and you taste it, and then it's completely different. And I think that's absolutely brilliant.
So I think there's another point to add, which is that one of our friends, our long-term friends of the club, a guy called Thomas Holt, who makes wine in northern Spain, told us quite a sort of an interesting tale, which was that he set out when, this was his website, his winery is called Paso Primero, the first step. And it's his first step in making wine for himself. So he obviously set out to follow the market trend and try to make a wine that was the right color. And obviously, northern Spain gets quite a lot of sunshine, quite a lot of heat. Yes, it's in the foothills of the Pyrenees, but it wasn't the right place to make that wine. And so it tasted absolutely terrible. And so he had to lean into making the right wine with the right color for the right flavor profile, which meant the right amount of contact with those dark skins on those dark grapes. And that brings in more fruit flavors. And he made a rosé that was described as strawberries and cream and best enjoyed with frazzles, and got phenomenal reviews. It's right. You can't try to mask it, because you can. You're right. You can bring people go along to a winemaker and they bring along a sort of a Pantone color chart and say, I want it to be this shade of pink, please. That's not the right way to do it. It's just not.
You've got to work with what the vineyard gives you.
Yeah, and you've got to also remember that when you start doing things like adding the sulfites to the wine at the end before you bottle it, that will change the color as well, which makes it a bit tricky to do that whole sort of predictability thing. But anyway, great wine, really cool tasting notes. Red currant strawberry, strawberry cordial, tinned strawberries, tannins, Haribo strawberries, bubble gum. That's cool.
I'm gonna go with strawberries.
Strawberry. What's I don't know what I was about to ask. So here's to Josef Maciak.
Peter Matysiak.
Absolutely, yeah. Delicious wine. So now we're going to another well-known grape, of Zweigeltrebe. This, I'm guessing, is Austro-Hungarian heritage as well. But I don't know much about this one.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so yes,
So
we're heading
Zweigelt.
to
So I was just. Sorry. Can you hear me?
It's all right. Yeah.
It's a mix.
just moving the.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I was just going to say, actually,
Brilliant, go for it.
Zweigelt is the name of the wine, but Zweigelt is the grape. Yes, absolutely.
Ah.
So Zweigelt is Rotburger also. So as you said, Austrian hybrid created in I think it's 1920s, whatever, by Friedrich Zweigelt.
Mhm.
And he unfortunately then later was connected with some Nazi activities. So the whole Zweigelt became a little bit dark in the history of wine.
Okay.
And then there was the whole polemics. Are we going to keep the name Zweigelt? Are we going to rename the grape? But then the decision was actually these two things are not related. So the name has remained Zweigelt. So Zweigelt is the grape and Zweigeltrebe is the name of the wine by Martin Pomfy.
Very interesting. So whereabouts are we now in Slovakia?
So we are still in Small Carpathians. So Zweigelt actually is on the limestone rich clay. So as I said, well drained soil. So the purple part.
Mhm.
What actually this means, that this area for the wines is the fresh aromatic whites with pronounced acidity, as you could see on Devín, the previous wine. And for the reds is actually quite juicy and fruity reds as well. So and if I can just say a few things about this wine, I absolutely love this wine.
Please
so
do,
it's
yeah.
a chillable red. So you can actually chill it down to 15, 14 or 13 degrees in the summer and it's still lovely. It's only 12% alcohol, which is quite unusual for red wines, especially in Slovakia because their red's quite strong and punchy. So usually it's around 15% alcohol. So this one is 12. And on the nose, it's well, I'll let you work this one out. But Martin Pomfy, again, started making wines actually, well, he's now 49 years old and he started making wines when he was 14 and his father before that. And they were making wines, they would just go around the village and try to sell them to people around in the village. And then eventually after again collapse of communism, they decided to set up the winery themselves. He now owns almost 90% of all the vineyards that he produces wines from. And why this is important, because he's actually one of the best winemakers in Slovakia. He's been the winemaker of the year a few times, and he's really big in the whole wine production area. But he believes that good wine starts actually in the vineyard. So he wants to have a complete control over the grape growing and the wine production as well. So his vineyards are mainly organic, and if they are not organic now, they are in transition to being organic. So this is organic already. So it's what in Slovakia is called bio. So it's organic wine, and also it's spontaneous fermentation was used for production. So no added yeast, and afterwards it was unfiltered and unfined. And again, you would just not be able to tell because Martin just allows his wines to have enough time to get where he wants the wines to be. So this particular wine was vinified in stainless steel vats, at a temperature of 25 degrees. Then it was aged for 16 months in a combination of large, small barrels, and then after that, 6 months of bottle aging. So, I mean,
that's fantastic.
Who's decided that?
Delicious. It's absolutely delicious. It feels like it's just it's a wine that's gentle. It says gentle care. That's what this wine says to me.
I think it's brilliant. It's got such a level of elegance. It's got this lightness that you find in a Pinot Noir or a Beaujolais. But then it's got this little bit of spice that you'd find in a Syrah. It's a brilliant glass of wine.
Yeah.
I think very drinkable, but got so much complexity about it. This for me is more of a food wine than a drinking wine because it's got that spice to it.
I could also drink this. When you talk about those barrels, I think the fact that he's gone to the care of choosing, different sizes of barrels, different ages of barrels, I think it feels to me like they're mostly neutral. So they're not pumping it full of that kind of oaky flavor. It feels like, wait for it.
I was going to say whole bunch.
Feels a bit of whole bunch in this.
Excellent.
Sorry, that's the catchphrase done. But it does feel like that sort of a slightly kind of kirshy cherry note to it. But very careful winemaking. It's given that it's a minimal intervention wine. Absolutely flawless. There's nothing in this.
I'd like to dive in on this point. Okay, there's a big difference between minimal intervention, and lazy. I'm not going to do anything winemaking, and I think that's got to be picked. People go, "Oh, natural. I've done nothing. I've done nothing. I've done nothing." That doesn't make you a great winemaker. Minimal intervention is doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. Yeah. If it doesn't need to be done,
not just pumping it full of sulfur just because, just in case.
It's not. It's minimal intervention, and this is the problem with a lot of these buzzwords that come out. Minimal intervention is doing the least you need to do with the wine to make it brilliant. And what that level of minimal is will change on a year-to-year basis, a wine-to-wine basis, a batch-to-batch basis, to make sure what you have at the end is brilliant. People go, "Oh, it's minimal, natural, this." Sorry, you pulled some grapes off a vine and chucked them in a box and left them.
Yeah.
That doesn't make great wine. Minimal intervention is letting the work be done in the vineyard and just being the custodian of that vineyard and those grapes and taking them on the journey that they need to go on to make sure you've got a brilliant wine at the end of it.
He's gone all arty. What about
that? That's why it's being recorded. That's me done for the day.
What you said. No, absolutely right. I think the only thing that I'd say about these kind of the difference between the minimal intervention and the purely natural wine for me is bottle variation. I think because you can be the best winemaker in the world and you can make wine and it tastes phenomenal. Then you put it in a bottle with absolutely zero added sulfur. There will be bottle variation. And so some of the bottles will taste great and some of them will taste not great. So this is, I think, different to the others. Let's be generous and say different. I think the minimal intervention approach says I'm going to be so careful to not screw it up. That's the attitude. I'm not going to screw up what came in from the vineyard. So I think you'll find a lot of these minimal intervention people add like about, let's say, 20 parts per million of sulfur at the end before they bottle it, just so that when you take a bottle of it, it's going to be the same. And actually, a lot of the natural wine producers are starting going, let's actually add a bit of sulfur at the end. so because otherwise, no one knows what they're going to get. So, but this is lovely. Let's have a look at the tasting note, shall we? So it's predominated by plum, which is
plum,
cool.
Spice, cherry. No one's put strawberry. Oh no, there is strawberry.
There is a strawberry there. Yeah.
There is a strawberry.
I thought we'd run out of all the strawberries that were available.
One that says salmon.
Salmon.
That's a new one to me. I've not had them.
Maybe that's a pairing note.
It could be a pairing note. It would. But if you chill that could go beautifully with salmon. Low tannins.
But this is a brilliant. I just think charcuterie board. Some copper, some specs, just sat on the table, bottle of that going around, just picking at some meat.
Why not?
Brilliant.
Why
I think
not?
It'd be great. I think
Fantastic.
It would be great.
How are people enjoying this one? Pop it in the comments if you what your thoughts are on this wine. But we've got to answer a couple of questions that have come in. So first of all, a value for money Pinot Noir alternative. It is like that compares with some seriously good like Californian Pinots that I've had, which are not cheap wines. Absolutely. But also, did we overfill the sachets this month? Tilt them backwards when you open them. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's the tear notch, because when people were doing it with a pair of scissors, you're very, very careful as you open them. Now there's a tear notch, you just go, oh, I'll tear it. But yeah, I don't
We'll have a vote. Would you A, like to be more careful, or B, will give you less wine next month?
I know the answer to that.
No, it's I suspect it's that because we weigh the pouches very, very regularly during the process. There's I'm not going to get into the whole process of how you have to document and have a process for weight verification. It's one of the things that we did not know about.
So you're not them.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you. But yeah, it's fun. Zweigelt is like Pinot Noir and Syrah had a baby, and
You've heard me say that before, haven't you? I didn't say it this time because people go like, "Oh, you say that every time." Yes,
but yeah, the softness, the gentleness of that wine, it is so delicate. And I love your tasting notes that say it could go with venison goulash. Now that's a new one on me. But venison goulash.
That's for the next wine.
Oh, that's the next one. Okay. Sorry, I stand corrected. Okay, but still,
But
that's
this
a new
could also
one.
go with venison goulash.
It could work with that, yeah. Cured meats, red pasta dishes, yep, for sure. But I could have that with a piece of venison. So yeah, I'll rescue myself from a different one. It's the same when they're underfilled.
Okay, so what we've got to work out is who we're going to take some wine away from and who we're going to give it back to.
Tonight, I've been lagging behind. It must be psychological, and also you can never have too much wine, so that's very good.
Exactly.
Let us go on to the next wine. This is so fun.
This one,
I want to keep drinking this. Yeah. Kevin still uses scissors. Lots of people still use scissors. It is the easiest way to do it, the most reliable way.
I love the fact we're on Notchgate over here.
We're in Notchgate. Yep, absolutely.
I was like, this is going to explode as I do this.
Learned from my mistakes. So far, no spillage. Well, that's good to know. I mean, the thing is that I've been opening by tearing them like for 5 years. So even when we didn't have a notch, but yeah, Magda's back to using scissors so she doesn't lose a drop. That is why we still say the whole, pop, lift, snip, pour, enjoy kind of thing, whatever it is. I should know that.
Okay.
So all right. We're on to 1.5.
Virgil, before we talk about this one, can you play the promo video? Because they've got these massive wine glasses stuff out the front. Just it's like 10 seconds.
Okay, here it goes. That's a pretty major investment. That's there's some money being poured into this project, and is that on the front page of your website as well? The whole big sort of.
No, that's a barrel tower from Tokaj. Actually, it's yes.
So there's lots of big symbolic kind of sculptural works in Slovakian wine. That's fantastic. Very cool indeed.
So we are
one of the most modern, exciting wineries in Slovakia.
Absolutely. So this is Dunaj, and I'm going to hand over Dunaj or Dunaj or whatever. But this is another cross, isn't it? I think I'm being laughed at.
It's Dunaj. It's Dunaj.
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 Hey, there's a J on the end.
Duh.
There we are.
Sorry.
Dunaj.
Well, like Tokaj. That is the clue. You see, because Tokaj is Tokaj.
I thought that was Tokaji.
Tokaji. Well, it's not even got an I on the end of this one. So yeah, it's Anyway, sorry.
There we are. We're gonna have to cut.
Tell us about the wine. Ignore us.
So Dunaj is actually Slovak term for Danube. So it's the name of the river. So what I said at the beginning is that Dorota Pospíšilová named her white grape varieties after places and red wine varieties after rivers. So Dunaj is one of the actually most known now, and it's becoming most used as well and planted red variety as well. So as you said, it's a crossing. It's a crossing of a crossing actually. So the first crossing was Muscat Boucher in Oporto. Oporto is Blau Portugieser. And then that, why wouldn't you do that? Obviously, then that she crossed with Saint Laurent. So it's a very interesting cross. Again, developed in the early 50s by, as I said, Dorota Pospišilova. She's absolute legend, I think.
It certainly appears so, because this is delicious. It's really, really good. And I think we need to be embracing that attitude towards let's accept change in the world. Like, obviously, we don't want the climate to change. We would like it to not, we'd like to not be screwing up the planet. But if we accept that there is change, how do we respond to that? How do we make something good out of this? And coming up with new grape varieties that combine the strengths of different ones is the way that we've always dealt with such things. And we shouldn't be so kind of, if it's not Cabernet Sauvignon, it's not proper wine kind of thing.
But a lot of the grapes we know and love as, what we class as the international varieties.
Yeah,
they have parentage from random grapes here and there or whatever.
And for God's sake, Cabernet Sauvignon, the clue's in the name there, isn't it? Like we've combined Cabernet Franc and Sauvignon Blanc, and that's the cross there. So yeah, this is all sorry, this is a cross, not a hybrid, though, is it? Like, it's not.
No, it's a cross. Yeah, so it's not a hybrid. It's a cross.
No non-vitis vinifera grapes in there. Yeah. Which is really interesting, because a lot of the more experimental recent ones have had some non-vinifera. That's the kind of family tree that most wine grapes came from. When they cross them with a non-vinifera grape, it gets called a hybrid. And then you've got grapes like Solaris and Rondo and things like that have been better. This is a very, very good point. We got some smart viewers. Grapes aren't genetically stable. They don't stay the same over time. You go through a vineyard, you will find this natural variation through mutation, and
hence why we have Pinot Blanco.
Yeah, quite right. And hence why Pinot Noir has Chardonnay as in its heritage. We should not be snobby about it. We should focus instead on the wine, which is now what we're going to do, because let's have a look at the tasting notes. So cherry, licorice, and clove are the three dominant kind of things there.
This is big, it's bold, it's spicy, it's chocolatey, it's decadent, I just love it. I think it's great, and it's so. This is different. Great. It's so different to the previous one. The previous one was light and elegant and had finesse. This is big and smacks, but not overblown. It's not like a 16% Zinfandel that's all there is. There's structure to it. There's balance to it, but it's just bold and cries out for a venison goulash.
naturally, or some chocolate. Most things cry out some chocolate, to be fair.
So from the production perspective, this wine was made. 30% of this wine was made or matured in barrique barrels, so small new barrique barrels, and then 70% was matured in large oak old barrels. So one of the asked by Dorota to the winemakers to use her grapes was not to over oak it, because it's so easy to over oak wine and to kind of create something that is actually not varietal, and you completely mask the taste of the grape. So her ask was not to do that. So this wine is actually exactly there. So 30%, as I said, small barrique barrels, and 70% in large oak barrels, and that's why it's very subtle on the vanilla and tobacco and spices, etc.
It's there, but it's not like even close to being the dominant factor of it. So it gives you primary, secondary, tertiary, if we're going our WSET route kind of characters.
What I like is every time you go back, there's something slightly different. You find a different hint of something each time you go back in. It's like there's cocoa, and then there's kind of like this slightly graphite-y pencil shaving thing, and then there's chocolate, then there's cherry, and there's so much going on in this, but without it being disjointed. Like sometimes you go, this has got too many different
Yeah.
things going on. And you're like, what's it trying to do? But this has lots of different bits and pieces, and it all kind of comes together. There's a reason for each part, it seems.
Do you know? I hope I'm not damning this by saying it, but I would say that this wine, it doesn't remind me necessarily of the exact flavors, but it reminds me of its place where it sits in the wine world, of something like an insanely good Merlot. Like Merlot can be utterly bland and boring and nothingness, or it could be something like the Three Palms Merlot from Napa Valley, which is ridiculously good and has that simultaneous smoothness and subtleness and complexity all going on at the same time. And for me, this wine hits that point, which is one of my favorite styles of wine. I really like it, but I wouldn't say its flavor profile exactly like that, but there's a bit more Argentinian, perhaps. I don't know. Kathy might have some things. So, but Kathy thinks that there is some complexity in the flavors there. But yeah, this is great. This is really genuinely good.
So where are we region wise as far as this wine to get these kind of rich, bold flavors?
So the vineyard, sorry, the winery itself is based in Small Carpathians, so that's the purple one. But actually, the grapes of this one come from South Slovakian, so that's the green one. So South Slovakian is known for loose and sandy profile. So the vineyards are usually along the Dunaj or Danube and Hron rivers, so it's a very specific microclimate there, and the wines there are known for being full-bodied, rich reds. Therefore,
it's a good color for full-bodied rich reds. Yeah.
So, as you mentioned, the wineries in one region and the grapes come from a. Do most wineries kind of source locally, or do you see wineries are getting grapes from all over Slovakia and bringing them in, or is it a bit of a mix?
Good question. So small ones definitely locally, because they usually just source from their own vineyards. The bigger ones like Viayor, Mátyšák, Granbar, so actually Granbar own their own vineyards, but Mátyšák, etc. They do tend to buy from other grape growers as well, and therefore they can extend and diversify the range of products also, because obviously all of a sudden the grapes are completely different nature.
Makes a lot of sense. I've just got to highlight this. This is great. This is a wine to and put the world to rights with. Amen. That's it. That's the one. That's the comment. That's fantastic. I absolutely agree. It fits in the world of sit, drink, chat. It's not just sit and drink. And this is like, let's have a discussion. It's gonna have things to talk about, and it just inspires you, doesn't it? What a great one. Someone else agrees. The Argentinian thing.
I think this is brilliant.
But this is great.
What Sophia's put. Having no preconceived notions of what to expect. You know, we can turn around and go do a Chardonnay tasting and be like, I don't really like Chardonnay, or I love Chardonnay, or I know what to expect. This is brilliant, because it's wines that people might not have seen, they're not aware of. And I think this has been great, you know, and I can pronounce Dunaj now, so I'm all right. So, you know, big learning curve for me.
Is it Viayor as well?
Viayor.
Yeah. So that rolled R at the end, I love that. That's great. The complexity of Eastern European languages has no end to me. I can occasionally get to grips. I remember trying to learn a few bits in sort of the Slavic languages and failing, and I remember trying to learn a few bits and I'm not good at that.
Good effort, Alex. I mean, Darren can definitely tell you something about it. He's already had 2 lessons of Slavic language, so he tries to put that in.
I will converse with him when he next comes over and brings us some sparkling ferment, and you come as well. We can discuss to no end. But we are going for a proper treat with wine number 6. I just want to quickly highlight this is such a nice comment. Thank you, Dan. We finding like he says that we find incredible wines. These are incredible. I think these guys, though, Lucia and Darren found them.
They found the wines and then palmed them off to us to find. We did the
this
easy
one.
bit
We
of
can't
it.
claim the credit for, but this might be the first month that I'll buy several of all of them. That is fantastic. Yeah, wine number 5. That's an absolute favourite for me. Let's move the tasting notes on.
I'm going to put the rest of that to the side. For the end.
Yeah, that's now I'm drinking now.
Okay, fair enough. So, moving on.
Oh yeah,
one of my favorite styles of wine. Dessert wine in general is one of my favorite styles, and you got a few ways to make dessert wine. You've got late harvest, where you leave it on the vine and let it shrivel into a raisin, get rid of some water, and therefore you leave the sugar behind. You have ice wine, where you let it freeze, crush it very gently, take away the water, leave the sweetness behind.
Here.
And then we have Botrytis cinerea or noble rot, which rots the grape, takes the water away, leaves the sugar behind.
Yeah, but you've got to have the right kind of.
Oh, you've got to have noble rot.
Noble
you don't
rot,
want brown rot. You don't want black rot.
Yeah, no, there's all
so
sorts
you
of
need
rots.
a very special set of
conditions.
That's the word I'm looking for. But you need it to be kind of damp and misty in the morning, and then you need the sun to come over and kind of
I think the key factor is, if you're in a country like England, you couldn't really make a noble rot wine. There have been a couple of exceptions. We have had a couple of good ones, but most of the time it's too consistently wet and cold and horrible. What you need is wet and cold and misty in the morning, starts the rot going, but dry in the afternoon, stops the bad bits starting to happen. So for some reason, I couldn't tell you how, that creates magic. But if you let it rot consistently throughout the day with all that moisture and dampness there, it just, they call it sort of grey rot often in this country. It's just this horrible level of mildew just starts growing in it, and it tastes disgusting. But this doesn't.
So I want to play my random game that I used to play when we had Zoom calls before we went onto YouTube. In the chat, what's the residual sugar on this? Guess the residual sugar.
Okay, we do generally have nerdy people that will have a good try.
That's my guess. Guess the residual sugar. So we talked about the difference. So this is obviously a Botrytis dessert wine. So we're back at Granbarry. This is their Royal Cuvée, and it's delightful. And I will pass off for more information about it while I sit and enjoy it.
So thank you. So Royal Cuvée obviously means a blend. It's a blend of different grapes, not different styles of wine. So the 3 grapes that go into this wine are Ferment, that we tried actually as a first wine, and then Lipovina in Slovak, which in Hungarian is Háslevelu. It's another very versatile grape variety, and then Yellow Muscat. So that is very aromatic and actually brings very, very large sugar profile to the wine.
I'm guessing just a little
all
bit
3 actually can be. Pardon me?
Is it just a little bit of that muscat?
No, I think it's pretty much 30% of
okay.
everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and this one is late harvest. So what happens is that the grapes, all of the grapes actually varieties, are being harvested at the end of October, early November. So if you're lucky, then you get 2 things going. So obviously you do have the high residual sugar already in the grapes because they are already shriveling, but also you do get botrytis, and botrytis is a very special phenomenon. I mean, in Tokaj, they call botrytized grapes, it's Tokaj gold. Literally, it's called the Tokaj gold, which is really nice because it doesn't happen every year. It doesn't have to happen every year. And if it does happen, and you do want to make the asu sweet, very super sweet style of wine, you go and harvest by hand, and you literally just pick the botrytized berries, and you do that all over, across, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes, just to get a few baskets of botrytized berries.
Wow.
So it's incredible process. This one, it doesn't have that actually. It's the whole bunches that go into the winemaking process. Is the picture that you saw previously. So you've got unaffected berries, a little bit already concentrated sugar, and botrytis berries. So so what is the residual sugar, guys?
So we've got some guesses at 80, 90, and 120 at the moment. Just as we let a couple of other people get their guess in. Does Slovak Tokaj have a grading system similar to Hungary with that kind of like petunios to measure the sweetness? Does that translate over? Is it the same? Is it a different scale?
It's actually exactly the same, or used to be exactly the same. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 Putna wines, and in Hungary again it's Putonos. In Slovak it's Putňové or Putna. And then above that is the Essencia, which is the insanely sweet wine. 400
ml bottles of dark,
absolutely
cold. Yeah,
and you drink it with a spoon, because actually it used to be deemed as medicinal as well. So yes, so Slovakia has got the same grading system. However, I believe the Hungary about 3-4 years ago changed the rules for their grading, so they now don't make 3 and 4 at all, and for 5 and 6 Putna, they've decreased the levels of requirement for aging. So it used to be 3 years in barrels aging, now it's only 2, whereas in Slovakia it's 3, still 3.
Interesting. That's really interesting indeed. Like, because you can. We're all trying to balance these commercial pressures of the world. Like, it's sweet wine is a category which struggles. Like fortified wines, people think, oh yeah, we should not have sweet stuff, and actually it's bloody delicious. And whenever anyone tries it, whenever we give sweet wines to people who say, oh, I don't like I like my wines totally dry, they go, oh my word, that's amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to some late harvest rondo.
Quite nice.
Yeah, some late harvest rondo from Sophia sounds good plan. I mean, that's probably the best thing to do with rondo, isn't it? So
harvest it even later.
Tokaj and cheese, yeah, absolutely. That's great that you remember that, though, because like just that combination, the sweetness and the complexity of a Tokaj with cheese is just phenomenal. So,
do we want to announce the residual sugar for those who had a guess?
What's your guess? Go on, let me put you on the spot.
90.
I'm going to have to be different. So I'm going to say 100.
You can just go higher or lower.
I'm going to go 100. That's my one. But I think we're in that ballpark. Now, presumably, we're about to be told we're all completely wrong. It's like
bone dry.
Oh, yeah, bone dry. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's 108.3.
Oh, 108.3.
However, the acidity is 7.9. So acidity is really carrying the whole wine, and therefore, when you drink it, it's not overly sweet, and it's still actually quite refreshing.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that might be my favourite.
Kathy,
there's been a lot tonight.
Kathy, if I was going to copy anyone for the right answer, people,
some sticky toffee pudding with this wine. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this wine is actually, from the pairing perspective, you did say blue cheeses, and obviously it goes really well with desserts. What we did with Darren the other day, we took it to our local Indian for a curry, and it pairs so well with curries and Indian dishes so well. So actually it offsets the spiciness absolutely beautifully, and mainly because it's only 10.5% alcohol, so it doesn't clash.
Yeah. That's one of the things with spicy food. You want to just try to moderate down alcohol, because the higher alcohol wines make the spice spicier. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's a phenomenal recommendation. I might have to try that.
But you look at the taste note: honey, apricot, pineapple. This is just decadent. So I think what we should maybe do is move on to the quiz while people have a sip of this.
While people sip this, let's head on to the quiz.
And while we get onto the quiz, if you've got any final questions for our resident expert, which is neither of us, get them in the chat while you've got a chance. So we're going to give you 60 seconds to get into the chat. What I will say is dive in, place any orders you want to place. What happened is people got very excited. We had a lot of extra tasting sold, so I changed every single bottle of wine I have here into tasting packs. So anything that's ordered, I'm going to have to order and get delivered. So it'll be a couple of days before I get it out to you. But dive in and order because
dive in and order. It will be with you
momentarily.
Helen, this is exactly my comment.
I love it.
I kept on thinking that it was like, oh, that's got to be mine. Then the next one comes, like, oh, wow, okay.
So as always, anyone who is in the quiz, you get points for being right. You get points for being fast, and whoever has the best score at the end can gift a tasting to our next tasting, which is going to be old vines to a friend, family member. And if you had a great time, give it to someone you like. If you think we were awful and rubbish, give it to someone you don't like. You know, it's as easy as that. But we'll give another 5 seconds, and then we will move into the quiz. And this is where I put a quiz together, and I'm going to get told that I've got answers wrong or spelling mistakes by the resident expert. You know, as we drink some Dunaj. But there we go. Right.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on to the quiz.
I'll let you present the questions because this is your baby this time. So, all right, let's go.
Okay. Where in Europe is Slovakia's wine country mainly located? Dive in. Get your answers. I'm not even going to read the answers.
Oh, ski slopes in Slovakia? Huh? That's cool.
Oh, they are. Yeah, high Tatras.
Wow.
Oh, they're amazing.
Right, I'm over. I haven't been properly skiing.
Yeah. So when's the Naughty Grape online wine tasting club ski trip to Slovakia? So a big chunk, 64% said Bratislava. Is that correct?
It is. Yes.
So where are we at?
Fantastic. Sophia
top.
Slightly
it's
ahead,
the second. It's fastest finger first. Let's go.
Okay.
What is Slovakia's most famous sweet wine region? I've doubled up on modrá there, haven't I?
Yeah. I have no idea because I've definitely only heard of all 4 of those, not one. Okay, well, I'll tell you what my one is at least, but I have a feeling we're going to get a good score on this one.
I hope so.
Oh, look, 100%. What
Yeah,
a surprise. Are they right? Yes, they are.
Right.
They are right. They're right. Okay. Leaderboard.
Oh, but James is quick.
James is speedy. But Sheena and Lisa and Will and Sarah are not far behind. This is very tight. Let's go to the next question.
Oh, well, it's often used in Slovakian Tokaj wines. See, it's all in it. It's all real questions. There's nothing about badgers this month. Nothing about badgers.
Don't ask.
I will later.
Apparently, Magda used to go to Poprad in.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds phenomenal. Wow. Yes, please. I want to go skiing. Ferment is the 90% answer on this one. Are they correct, though?
It's not Welschriesling.
It certainly isn't. It is ferment. So Sophia remains
Sophia's
in the
back in.
Sophia's back in. Yeah.
Oh.
God, it's neck and neck, isn't it? Goodness me. So be super speedy. Don't wait for me to say it because there's a bit of a delay between when I press the button and when you hear us talk. Which of these red grape varieties thrive in Slovakia's warm southern vineyards? Is it Pinot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Blaufränkisch, aka Frankovka, modrá, or Terroirs?
See, that's why I let you read that. See?
Don't. You won't believe like some of the. I put myself through hell. I hate trying to pronounce things and I'm being completely wrong. And yeah, there we are. Well, lots of people saying Blaufränkisch. Frankish. Oh, I can't do that.
I like a bit of Blau.
It's the correct answer, though. That's good. I think I would have been better saying.
Oh, Lisa!
Wow, Lisa! Super speedy.
Through.
Okay, again, don't wait for the voice.
The 2 tops are nowhere to be seen now.
Watch your screen. Don't wait for the voice. How many official Slovak wine regions are there? Well, you've only shown a map. Well, we know about the dark purple.
If you read your booklet, You know, it's an all encompassing. It's an all encompassing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's an all encompassing experience.
There you go. Yeah.
It's not just what you hear from me.
Multimedia or something like that.
Exactly.
We could coin a phrase based on that. Oh, majority going 6, but a few going on 8 and 10. Let's push it on. It's Lisa and Will staying in the lead there. Magda's closing in though. It's only 8 seconds in it. Goodness me. Right,
3
next
questions to
question. Devín, what makes it special? Is it Slovakia's signature indigenous variety? Is it always sparkling? Is it cross created by Slovak scientists, or is it only used for dessert wines? You're not allowed to compete in this, Lucia, because I think you might know some of the answers.
Only some.
Oh, okay, interesting. This is going to divide things.
It's a cross.
It's a cross created by the Slovak scientists. There we are. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So what does that do? Oh, it puts Magda in
the lead. But she's got to get it right. She's might
got to
be
get
fast,
it right. She's got to get it right.
She's got to contemplate the answer.
Okay, the next question is coming up now. Which mountain range influences Slovakia's northern vineyards? Is it the Alps, the Tatras, the Carpathians, or the Pyrenees?
I'm saying northern for wine growing regions, not in the north.
Yes. I don't think it's the Pyrenees. Personally, I think that might not be the right answer.
Oh, you're not competing here.
No, it's not what I say doesn't count like usual. Right.
It's a high 87% on the correct answer.
And that was the correct answer. Magda's.
There's 3 seconds in it on the last question.
Last question.
But those behind are all faster.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it could be anyone's game. Final question.
Okay, final question.
Is it about badgers, though?
Coming up.
Let's go.
What? We have not covered this one. So what style of wine is most often labeled as Riesling in Slovakia? Is it Riesling, Rhine Riesling? Is it Welschriesling? Is it Sauvignon Blanc, or is it Chardonnay?
Say something. It's one of those.
It's one of those 4. Yep. And it could be completely obvious, or it could be completely not obvious.
Depends if you're Welsh or not.
Or Chardonnay.
There we are.
Right, we are evenly split. Okay.
Is it Welsh Riesling or Rhine Riesling for the win?
What's the answer, Lucia?
It's the Rhine Riesling.
It is Rhine Riesling.
Hopefully I've clicked the right button. Yes, I've got that right.
Magda!
Magda wins.
Fantastic.
Tell us where you want a tasting pack.
It's brilliant.
So
we are now on to the wine of the night, which we hide because we don't want to spoil the secret or make anyone feel bad. But we will tell you what the winners are. So do rank them in order. I had a teacher at school, a science teacher, geography teacher, because he was teaching us Spearman's rank, but he couldn't pronounce the letter R. He had that typical deficit, so he was trying his hardest not to say to a bunch of schoolboys rank. So anyway, let us rank those questions. Thank you.
Just while everyone's picking their favourite, I just want to say a massive thank you for joining us this evening. It's been a lot of fun. It's been absolutely insightful. Some really, really good information. I think
phenomenal
some
wines.
brilliant wines.
Absolutely phenomenal.
So if anyone's got any last questions before we reveal the wine light, speak now or forever hold your peace.
What have you always wanted to know about? Okay, I tell you what. I've got one final question. What is the future of Slovakian wine? What sort of things should we be looking out for? Where it's really exciting, the innovations happening?
Oh, good question. So there are a few things actually coming out from Slovakia. Oh, that's a very good question. So kind of functional drinks, which are obviously no alcohol, and then low alcohol drinks, mainly canned. So a lot of spritzers. So Slovakia again loves spritzers, and
Wow.
especially coming in the cans. So we're talking about 4.5% alcohol, but those wines are really beautiful, refreshing, and very aromatic. Again, it's there's no added sugar, though they are sweet. The only sweetener there is used is actually natural juice of products that are being used there. So fruits and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this has got nothing to do with wine, but actually recently we discovered a company called Milia, and what they do is no alcohol wine. But how they achieve this is no de-alcoholization or filtering or sort of boiling alcohol away. So they spent a few years in a lab, and they developed a special yeast that was modified by viruses. I don't want to say genetically modified, but it was modified by viruses. And now it's lacking an enzyme. And this means that this yeast, particularly, that can't convert sugars into alcohol. So it still does ferment. It still does exactly the same thing. It's just, and it consumes sugars, but at the end, there is no alcohol. So these beers is absolutely insane. We tasted them a few weeks ago in Slovakia. They taste like a real beer, but there is zero alcohol. I've never seen anything like it. And so what I think, and why I'm saying this, is because I think the next step in Slovakia is that somebody is going to try to create this for wine as well.
That is absolutely.
Why wouldn't they?
That's really cool.
Literally the only reason I could think it wouldn't be is if the EU don't allow it, and I hope they do, because that's exactly the kind of innovation we need. That's really cool. There was a little winery in the Napa Valley. I can't remember what they're called, but they were using genetically modified yeast. They were out and out, quite very, very kind of blunt about it. They'd started in the craft beer world as well, and they were using genetically modified yeast that did things like boosting the lemon profile and blah, blah, blah. So they did lots of stuff like that. And I was super. Oh, the cat's arrived! Hey! That's the right point of the tasting. Shall we put the prices up?
The prices and wine of the night, I think, would be.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So the prices are up now. It is. Sorry, I've just hidden it with the prices, haven't I?
That's all right.
Oh no, I haven't hidden it. So
you're just going to tell people.
These are all like last month, great priced wines. These
all great priced and all very similar. So you can pick your favourite. And the Tokaj is a 500 ml. It's not a half bottle.
Not a half bottle. So that's
value.
Excellent value. And I think it's excellent value because it's a blend and it's not just pure ferment. And I think it's better because it's blend. But
all very close. All very
immensely close.
The Dunaj, I think because people just want me to say it again, has come out on top with the Zweigelt coming second.
Do you not mean the Viajor Dunaj?
Who doesn't like the Viajor Dunaj? Everyone loves that.
Viajor Dunaj.
But I just think if we did this tasting again tomorrow night, I think that would swap around.
Around. It really would.
But all really, really brilliant wines, and it's been a fantastic night. So
great tasting wines I've never come across before. All really good. Thanks for a great night, guys. See you next month. And actually, I like this. I have a question. What is the question? Can we do this again in the future? Yeah. Absolutely. I absolutely am up for that. I would love to revisit this. So give us, let's say, a year, and we will come back and we will do this again. If you would, Lucia, I hope you're up for it, because we are.
Absolutely. There are plenty of new wines as well, so definitely.
Excellent. And hopefully some nice low alcohol ones, which have been made in a cool virus modified yeast way. So on that bombshell.
No, but thank you very much. It's been a wonderful evening, and we will see you all next month for Old Vines. Magda, let us know who we need to send a tasting pack to. And good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Go and pop on the website, buy some wines, and we will send them out when they